In the next 20 minutes, I'm going to show you exactly how I built a $1 million creative business using LinkedIn. I'll be covering every single thing I did to start, build, and grow my business so you can just copy me. But if you can't watch this video from start to end, then you might not make it. Look, over the past 2 years, I've gone from running a 6-figure agency, launching an e-learning business, co-founding B2B SaaS businesses, and also angel investing into founder-led businesses. And if I had to start all over again, here's the exact step-by-step framework from 0 to 1 million I'd use. Now, I'm going to cover how to know exactly what to sell, how to start with $0 or any investment, how to multiply your income streams, how to build your personal brand to 10x and dominate your market, and lastly, how to leverage your scale into a wealth multiplier. The first thing is to know exactly what to sell. One thing about me is that I don't believe in market saturation, only in opportunity. Because when a market looks saturated, all it means is that there is demand. The real question is, can you position yourself as someone that people will choose anyways? To nail this, you need to understand your market value. What tangible thing do you bring to the table or to the market that someone actually wants or needs? A good model I recently created is the SMPV. So the S stands for scale. So what are you good at? Then the M stands for market, who actually needs this thing. Then the P stands for problem. So what pain are they stuck with? And then V stands for value. So what tangible outcome do you create by solving the problem, right? So let me give you an example. Let's say that you are a creator, right? And you want to become an entrepreneur. So how do you do that? We identify the scale first. So the scale for the creator can be something like they like writing and storytelling. So this is the scale. So now the market that this person that is a creator and loves storytelling can tap in is into freelancers and maybe coaches or even entrepreneurs who are struggling to create content that actually brings people into their funnel, that attracts attention, that makes some sort of impact, because not everybody likes writing, but this person does, right? The V for this person that's just starting, the value that they can provide is like they document their journey. So then for the P, because this person probably doesn't know exactly what problem they're solving yet, they're going to document exactly how they're fixing the problem for themselves. So they're also getting ignored, they're not getting any leads, but then when they fix this problem, then they can come onto the V, which is the value. And the value will come in the solutions that they find to their problems. And that's pretty much it if you're a creator that wants to be an entrepreneur. Now let's take another example, because this one is too easy. And this also is my story. So the reason why this is the first example is because this was me. I started with my skill, which was writing and storytelling. I identified it because I noticed that I just had a knack for writing. I enjoyed writing on LinkedIn. And also anytime I would write on LinkedIn about writing or storytelling, people would react the best. So I was like, okay, there's some money in here. Now for the market, I started identifying, well, who are the people who need the most help right now? Who is the easiest target demographic and the lowest hanging fruit? I noticed that it was freelancers, coaches, entrepreneurs who didn't know how to write content, but I did. So I was 2 steps ahead. I wasn't 10 steps ahead. I was just 2 or 1. And then I noticed I found their problem because I had that problem as well, which was I wasn't getting any engagement. I wasn't getting any leads. I wasn't getting any followers. But then while I documented my journey on LinkedIn, this brought me the value. So that was my value add, the fact that I solved this problem. And so that was it. Over time, LinkedIn delivered me my first few leads, and then I never had to send a cold outreach message ever again. Now, another example, just for simplicity and also just to help anyone that may not be a writer and be like, oh my God, Lara, I'm not a writer. Yes, okay, I know. Let's say you have an interest for AI, anything. Maybe it's automations with AI, maybe it's ChatGPT, maybe it's Claude, maybe anything, vibe coding, whatever. So how we're gonna lay this out for the SMPV. So the skill is obviously the curiosity that you have for AI. So maybe it's like Lovable, maybe it's ChatGPT, maybe it's another complex model, whatever, automation, anything, AI agents. So then you realized that your skill is understanding how to fix a simple problem like automations with AI agents and creating content with it using Claude, right? So that is a thing. So AI agents plus Claude content. So the market for you would be small agencies and coaches or solopreneurs. So that is the market. Why am I saying this is the market? Because most people that are within these people, small agencies, coaches or solopreneurs, need help with automations and they want to use AI. So they are also open to this. You can also pick someone else. Now, the problem that you're fixing is the same problem that you probably fixed for yourself. You were trying to fix something. That's why you got into AI and automations. You then learned, okay, I can actually do this quite quickly. How about if I then start selling this to agencies, solopreneurs, and entrepreneurs so I can save them time, right? Because most people don't want to hire anymore, or they want to help their team become more efficient, right? So the problem that you're fixing is like the time issue and potentially saving the money, right? Now, for the value is you're going to offer your service. You're also going to offer free content about this, and you're going to show exactly how to fix, how to implement, and then how to hire you. So these are 3 ways in which you are providing value to the market. So you're providing it in a free way, in a paid way, and also in like a freemium way where like you'd probably reveal most of the tips in your LinkedIn content, like 5 tips, but you won't actually say the implementation. So this is exactly how anyone can find their market value as fast as possible. Once you understand this and use this model, you will be able to get into the next step. But if you still have questions, I actually created a ChatGPT prompt that will help you identify your scale, the market, the problem, and the value you have, and will actually build it out for you. And it can even give you an offer. So I'm gonna leave that in the description so we don't get distracted, but it's incredibly good and I wish I had it when I started. So I hope you use it. That's how you figure out what to sell, to who, and how. You don't do it by copying what's trending or by waiting for the perfect offer, but you do it by connecting your unique skills to a market with a real problem and a clear value proposition. Now, this is clear. The next thing is how to start with 0. Because when the time comes and you have capital to invest in businesses, you won't blow it away like I've seen it happen multiple times. When you're starting from 0, you don't need ads, a website, or a funnel. You don't even need a logo. What you need is proof. Proof that someone will pay you for solving their problem. And the fastest way to get proof is by starting with a service. That's literally how I started my business. I didn't go for VC funding to start a business. I didn't even know what that even was. I only just learned what YC Combinator was earlier this year. And honestly, ignorance is bliss. When you don't have money, you pay with your time. And for me, starting a service-based business was exactly that. That's exactly how I paid with my time because I had no money. All right, now let me show you exactly how you think about it as a service. So let's say we have 3 types of people. 1, 2, 3. One of them is a video editor. The next one is a writer. And the next one is a fitness coach, right? So they're done for you. Service, which is like a service-based business. For the video editor, it would be a short form agency. For the writer, it would be a email agency. And then for the fitness person, it would be a PT training program for 12 weeks or even in person. So now we have solid examples that you can actually use and hopefully you can implement into your own business. And if not, maybe you can get some inspiration. So the idea here is that you have identified the thing that you do well and how you can do it for someone else, right? Now, in terms of getting your first few clients, all you need to do is open LinkedIn, search for your ideal client, then send a personalized message, or maybe not, depends on the volume. I would usually opt for sending a personalized one, especially if I'm just starting on LinkedIn. So there is nuance here. So just pick and choose what suits you best, then provide value for free for them, solving one single problem that they may have. And then do this 20 times a day for as long as it takes until someone replies. So the sniper approach I actually used to get from 0 connections to 500 connections, not even followers, connections, was doing exactly that. So what I did in order to get these 500 connections as soon as humanly possible, I did a few things. So the first one was obviously making my LinkedIn look nice, so building my personal brand, which we'll cover in a minute. The second thing is every single personalized DM that I sent, I would give them a compliment or I would give them value. I wouldn't just be like, oh, great to connect, or like, oh, I see you're connected with X. Like, that is just so overused. Now it screams AI before it just screamed rookie. Now, let's say I found someone like one of my co-founders, Jake. I'd say something like, hey, I really loved your recent SEO breakdown. I actually published it in a separate blog if you want the backlink, or something that is related to them. So he'll be like, oh my God, thank you so much. This is very helpful. I actually am building something else and I really want backlinks for whatever purposes. So I've done him a favor. Now he's more willing to either engage with my content, refer me to people if he thinks that I am worthy of referrals, or even building a good networking relationship. And so either way, I win, you know, but this requires time, attention, and personalization, which is why most people quit and don't do this. But honestly, it's worth it. But now, if I wanted to connect with someone like Jordan, who would have been an ideal client during my agency days, what I would have done is I would have looked at his profile, would have identified what was missing from his LinkedIn strategy that would allow him to win on LinkedIn or get him more leads, more growth, more impressions, whatever the metric that I want to go for is. And then I would either send a message, very short, being like, hey, Jordan, I just dropped you a 10-minute loom, solve it, like giving you free X, Y, and Z thing. Here's a link. Hope you enjoy it. Bye. And then in the loom, I would actually run him through exactly what strategy I would implement for him so he could actually start growing his LinkedIn. I would even draft his first 5 posts. I would give him the strategy. I would tell him how to hire the specific people that he needs to grow his LinkedIn faster, the exact templates, the exact photos, maybe some swipe files that he can use for reference, maybe even a ChatGPT bot that I created just specifically for him, whatever. Something that screams personalization. And then with that, I would most likely at least land a call with him to talk about the agency and what I do, you know? And this type of tactic is also called the Trojan horse effect, when you go in with a really massive hit and then you really leave people with no option than to hopping on a call with you because you blew them out of the park. I've done this and people have done this for me. One of them was one of my editors for YouTube, who is now a 6-figure agency owner. So it works. You just need to try enough times. So if you do this 20 times a day for as long as it takes until someone replies, then you get 3 people on a call to agree with you to some sort of like service exchange. So you do it for free for them for a while, because at this point you're starting from zero, so you don't have any testimonials, so you need them. Then you get them to give you feedback and testimonials on your service and obviously on the quality of it. You use the feedback to iterate on the service and make it better, and then you use the testimonials to promote yourself even more. So you use these to repeat that again. So you have the testimonials and you have the feedback. So with the feedback, you're gonna iterate on your service and then charge a premium price now. And then you use the testimonials to then market this to all the people. Okay, this literally is a win-win. I am such a big fan of free work because you cannot lose. You can only win. There is only upside for you in this. You get free, real feedback from people that would actually pay for the service. Most of the time, these people could also become your first paid clients if you do a good enough job. And at the end, you can actually have a product that you would be pleased to charge for. So at the end of this, if you charge people between $500 and $2,000, you'll be good to go and on your way to making your first $10,000. The key here is your consistency of outreach, and the more you do it, the better you get at it. It's literally the law of averages. I learned this from my door-to-door sales. The more you do it, the higher the chances of someone saying yes to you. And the more you do it again and again and again, the chances of someone saying yes to you are higher. So it really is a game of numbers. Let's do the math. So if we get 3 clients at $500, then you'll be at 1.5K a month, right? And then if you get 3 clients at 2,000, if you're charging more so for a premium service and you're like already a legend, then that's 6,000 a month. Now, for the people that might be like me in the past and unsure about charging, I get it. It's hard to charge for something that you did for free or that is new to you. So a very powerful tip that I got from a mentor in 2023 when I was also scared of charging and raising my prices, he said to me, only raise your prices between $300 to $500 every time you get a new client. This way, the jumps won't feel scary. And they didn't. And using this is exactly how I went from 0 to charging $2,000 to even charging $5,000 at the peak of the agency world. And then for the cohorts between $1,000 to $5,000 to $15,000. So number 3, how to multiply your income streams. Here's a problem every service provider faces eventually. There's only 24 hours in a day. And if you keep on selling your time, you will eventually hit a ceiling. And the most common answer for this is to hire. Now, I could say that too. And I could be like, yes, hire, create SOPs, go on Fiverr, Upwork, etc. etc. But I personally didn't hire. I tried. I scaled my agency with AI for the most of it. I tried hiring writers to scale it even more, but I simply just couldn't. I hired VAs to assist me with minimal tasks for clients and so on. But for me, the easiest, lowest friction path that made sense for me was to multiply my scale into products, not hire more people. See, by now, with the Done For You service, you've been solving problems one-to-one. Now you're going to solve them one-to-many. Here's exactly how it works. You turn your service into a repeatable framework. If you're a video editor, for example, document your editing process and then turn it into a course or templates. If you're a writer, you then package your email strategies into a playbook. And if you're a fitness coach, then you take your one-to-one coaching and then you turn it into a 12-week group program people can actually download online. Now, the multiplier effect, how it works in practice, I've seen it happen, and I saw it recently with one of my ex-clients. They have the agency and they were making 4 million. They realized that they didn't need more clients now because they've hit their ideal ceiling of how many people they probably want to have. I don't really know. What they can do to still increase their profit margins is to have a cohort or a program where it's one to many. So this means that they can start, instead of charging 5,000 for 1 month for one client, they're charging maybe 3,000 or 5,000 for 6 weeks for one person. And then they're doing it to multiple people. And then they're delivering the same thing to multiple people for less time. So they're buying their time back essentially. So doing things one to many isn't just for content creators or people that are in the personal branding space. It's for everyone. Agency owners, consultants, coaches, fitness trainers, teachers, AI professionals, engineers, anyone can do this. And it's honestly the smartest thing you can do because you're doing less work for more money. So instead of charging 1,000 to work one-to-one, you can charge 1,000 per seat for a 4-week program to 10 people, right? With just 10 people, that's $10,000 in one program. With 25 people, you're already hitting $25,000 in 1 month without doing more work. Just because I have time, I'm gonna lay out exactly how I turned my agency services into a program that actually worked. Then I'm gonna show you how I built it, where I hosted, and then how I marketed it, okay? So first things first, the program. So the program is built out of your SOPs and your systems and all of your coaching calls. So if you've had coaching calls, if you have transcript from clients, if you have their results, then you can understand what problems they usually have, where are the bottlenecks, how to get them their results, right? And then once you standardize that process, you can turn it into a course that then can be turned into the cohort's curriculum. So every single problem you've ever solved for a client, it's a part of your new curriculum that you're going to build and educate people on. To make this the most comprehensive thing as possible, let's say you're an executive coach. You coach people one-to-one, you help them do X, Y, and Z, you help them get sudden transformation. Maybe you take them from $50,000 a month to $100,000 a month to even $1 million a month, but you've only done this one-to-one. Now, to do this one-to-many, you're going to take exactly what you do with your one-to-one clients, but you're gonna turn it into a 12-week program that people can take every single week, right? And then you're gonna take like week 1, how to hire, week 2, how to create SOPs, week 3, how to fire, week 4, how to look at your accounts, whatever it is, like all of these things, right? Every single thing that you do with clients one-to-one then can be systematized and optimized for an hour-long lesson. And then after that, do the sequence, and then that's 12 weeks. That's literally it. And that is essentially the curriculum of your 12-week program done, because you are giving people the problem and then you're giving them the solution, because most people don't even know where the problem is. And maybe they know one, but they don't know the 12, right? Or they don't know the 6 or whatever, how long you choose to make your program. So that's how you build the program. And then because most cohorts or programs have the live element, you can actually add a Q&A session at the end of each call. Or if you film the curriculum content like a course and you have it and you host it and you give it to people, and then you also give them a weekly call with you, then you'll also be able to get more feedback live on demand, so you can then iterate on the next version of this exact same product, which is again why I love cohorts, because you get live feedback, you're also getting paid, you're having a lot of fun, and you're doing technically less work. Now, where to host it? There are multiple places you can host things like this. It's become incredibly easy to actually have your coaching or your services, like your one-to-many services, on demand. I personally use Pablo. Then you could also use Circle, you could use Slack, you could use School, you could use Heartbeat. So whatever fits your brand works. and whatever feels more intuitive to use. I think most of them have free trials, so you can test them all out, but it just depends on your crowd as well. You want to try and optimize for whatever feels more intuitive for your customer. If I took B2B person onto Discord, I think they'll probably crash out, probably keep them on Slack. But if I had to take one of my creator friends onto Discord, that'll be fine because they probably are used to using it. But now if you put me on a platform like school, I'd crash out. So now the marketing for these cohorts or programs or coaching, whatever we want to call it, there's multiple different ways. Mentorships. Now the marketing of this could be an entire different video, so I'm going to leave it there. But the single best way to market anything online. So the first thing is build an engaged email list so you can sell to people. I've said this before, but around 70 to 80% of my total revenue from this year has come from emails. So it has been a massive advantage to build one rather than prioritizing being in this content hamster wheel and being a slave to the algorithm. I am a slave to email and I own my audience and I can sell directly to them anytime I want. So 100%. Then the next thing to marketing these things is use case studies. People want to resonate with the product. They want to see it. They want to envision themselves in it and using it, and they want to see how you solved a problem for someone that looks exactly like them. The amount of times that people have bought my product because I said one single thing that made it click. So you need to understand exactly what problems are you actually fixing and how, right? So then you rinse and repeat this with launches. You run them as many times as you can handle, and each one can generate between 100K to 300K. And that's how you stack revenue without stacking hours. This is exactly how I went from a 6-figure service business to multiple 6-figure launches. And this is exactly how we've gotten people like Thea inside of one of my cohorts to go from 0 to 50K launches in 4 to 5 days using my exact systems, frameworks, and strategies. And now we've even added email sequences that people can use. So if you're interested, I don't know when we're gonna open the next one, but if you wanna join the waitlist for that, then I'll leave the link in the description so you can join. Now, for my perfectionists at the back, your first cohort, your first program doesn't need to be perfect. It just needs to deliver what your customers need. Your process is the product, that's it. You can iterate in the future. My first cohort was a mess. I didn't know what I was doing. I had to have my friends involved. The website wasn't ready on time. I didn't know how to market it. I actually only had one sale in the first 24 hours and I thought it was a failure. Stripe didn't work. I literally made up the entire curriculum, but it ended up giving me the best results in the planet. So honestly, you're not being a perfectionist. You're just procrastinating. It's like perfectionism is procrastination in disguise. My best piece of advice, build your curriculum, start marketing it, build a wait list, and then ship the product within 4 to 6 weeks. It just needs to deliver what customers need. Your process is a product. Now, yes, I know what you're thinking, Lara, how do I market that though? Or like, hey, I don't have 1 million followers and I won't be able to sell anything. Or maybe you're even thinking, hey, I am scared to sell to my audience. And I get it. I had all of these exact same thoughts when I started to, but actually, when you start promoting your offer online, you actually gain so much more trust and traffic. And I don't just say this, I have seen it play out time and time and time again. The first time I ran a launch, after never ever promoting my services, I had the most leads and inquiries for my agency and consulting. Like, I'd never had so much pipeline in my life. And this was off the back of a very intense launch where I was spamming people about my services, my business, what I was offering, etc. Now, let me really tell you why this works. It's all about psychology. People can only buy what they are aware of. Most of your audience isn't sitting there thinking, I need their service right now. They might not even realize that they have a problem you solve or that you know how to solve it. And that's why building a personal brand is so powerful, because it creates awareness, trust, and demand that compounds over time. You also get to market anything you want for free. No ads, no spend, just good content, especially if you do it on LinkedIn. Duh. Shocking that I mentioned LinkedIn. So here's how you build a personal brand. So first, you need to pick a platform. So either where you have the most followers or where your ideal clients are. And the second thing is you need a content system. So something that you actually know works, that is validated for you and your niche, and that you can stay consistent with. Because otherwise, if you start creating content, let's say you start a 60 to 90 day posting challenge, right? And you post 90 days, but then day 91, you quit because you are overwhelmed, you're burnt out, and you don't know what to talk about, right? So the platform, let's say you're gonna choose LinkedIn, and the content system, well, you're gonna use this thing that I call the 4-3 4-3-2-1 method. I invented this myself after talking to so many of my clients and realizing there is a common denominator, and that is the belief that you need to have an extraordinary amount of quantity in order to make it big on LinkedIn. So the reason why I love LinkedIn so much is because it is not a platform where you have to push quantity. Quality is what's important. Now, let me break it down. So the 4, it stands for 4 posts every single week. So not 5, not 6, not 7, not 12, 4. That is the sweet spot with content, right? Because 4 is just enough to build a presence over time that compounds without burning yourself out, and it's not so little like 3, 2, or 1 that it makes you not have enough data to then validate and then reiterate in the future. Okay, so that's 4 posts a week. Now the 3 is for the 3 types of content that you're going to be using. So you're going to be storytelling, you're going to be educating, and you're going to be selling, right? After analyzing thousands of LinkedIn posts and thousands of accounts over the last 3 years, I realized that the best creators do 2 things very well. They either educate or they storytell, right? And then they sell off the back of it. Now, the 0.1% of entrepreneurs and creators on LinkedIn and overall on social media, they educate and storytell at the same time. They do both simultaneously, which allows them to gain more brand equity over time, right? So what you're going to be doing is you're going to be storytelling maybe 2 times a week, and then maybe educating once and then selling once. Or you can do it the other way around. You could be storytelling once, you could be educating twice, and then you could be selling once, right? So whatever ratio fits your narrative, I would usually be storytelling twice and then educating once and then selling once. Or when I'm not selling, I'll be educating twice and then storytelling twice. And then if I really felt like I had nothing to talk about, then I'd be educating 3 times a week, and then I'll be selling once or storytelling once. Just depends. The 2 is for the 2 types of people you want to be reaching online, right? So we have one thing that a lot of people will understand and know, and that is the ICP. So your ideal client persona, right? Or your ideal client profile, whatever you want to do it. So this is who people usually write their content to. Now, the problem is that I don't think that is enough. The next thing you want to be focusing on is your IFP, your ideal follower persona. A lot of people don't take this into consideration, but I think it's incredibly important to understand this. Your ideal follower is not someone that's going to buy from you, at least not immediately. It's someone that can buy from you in the long term. But while you're building that IFP, they're going to redirect your ICP to you. It becomes almost like a cycle, right? An ideal follower then becomes an ideal customer. An ideal customer then becomes an ideal follower, and so on and so forth. And the reason why most people fail at growing their personal brands is because they do not take the second one into consideration. People are so obsessed with the idea of ICP that they forget that in order to get the most ideal customers online, you need to be reaching wider audience. That's why people think about it in funnels, like top, bottom, and middle of funnel. The bigger your funnel, the bigger your top of funnel, the more people you can get into the bottom of your funnel, right? It is not, and that's why people creating content like 10 times a week about, ghostwriting for doctors or ghostwriting for dentists, and then the content is so niche that it never reaches a wider audience of people who could actually be their ideal clients, because they're focusing on the one thing too much, right? And it's not about becoming the niche. It's more so about niching down to twice a week and then niching up 2 days of the week, right? That's why we have the 3 and the 4 and the 3. The 4 pieces of content, then the 3 types of the 3 content pillars, and then the 2 ICPs, and then the 1. So now the 1 is important because this is how people are actually going to make money off their personal brand. And that is lead magnets. Lead magnets are my pride and joy. I am obsessed with lead magnets. They have genuinely changed my life. So what are they? Lead magnets are something that you use, which is a free resource that then you lead to people to then having to opt in into your newsletter, right? So you bribe them with free stuff so they can give you their email for free. And then after a while, you collect their emails, then you can market directly to them because you own that audience. So you're not at mercy of the algorithm. You're not at mercy of being shadow banned. You're not at mercy of anything. You show up on your ideal customers' emails every single morning. If your emails are good, obviously, then they'll open them, right? So if you follow 4-3-2-1 every single week for the next 60 days, and then you deliver one incredible lead magnet, maybe once a week, maybe once a month, depending on how much bandwidth you have to create a lead magnet, and then you redistribute that traffic to your newsletter, and then you start sending weekly emails, I promise that not only your personal brand will grow, but also your business, one way or the other. There is no way you can fail, okay? With the content part, I'm not meant to be saying this right now because it's not about content strategy, but if you want to learn how to create viral content, you're going to be using my slave framework. I created it for myself because I like stories, but then I realized they kind of sounded cringe because I didn't want to talk about myself all the time. But then I was like, well, stories retain people and grab attention, but then I retain it even more when I give education. So this slave framework is you start with a story, lead with a lesson, have actionable advice, and then end with a you. So let's say I am an email marketer and I start my story with saying, I dropped out of university to go all in on emails. Here's exactly how I started. So that's the 2 lines of story. That's it. Then the lesson. Step number 1, I started by buying Lara's email course. Step number 2, I then understood how to get my first client. Step number 3, I got my first 10 clients. Then I started working with a 4 to 500 business. Step number 4, etc. Right. That's the lesson. That's the actionable piece of advice. You're actually teaching someone how to do something, right? So let me break it down for you. So, story. Last year, I was broke, but today I made my first 6 figures. Here's exactly how I did it. I started by doing one thing, then I did the next thing, then I did this thing, then I did this thing, right? So, when was the last time you started from 0? So, that is the sort of body and the skeleton of a viral post using the slave framework. So I started with a story, then I led with a lesson, then I gave actionable advice by breaking it up into a listicle, and then I turned it into a you so people can engage with me. I can connect with my audience, I can build a community, I can also fabricate engagement, and then I can use their comments as more content ideas for the future. It is literally that simple. Obviously, a bonus tip for people that are struggling even when they have all of this. Let's say, hey Lara, I already tried all of this, but it's not working. You need to understand, again, the power of positioning. So on LinkedIn specifically, positioning is important in the way of how you look and how you present yourself. The more professional you seem, the better you're going to be received. So this is why you'll see a lot of people using photos from conferences, podcasts, keynotes. Maybe they'll have a professional photo shoot. Like this type of investment of front, even if it is taking your friends out to take photos of you somewhere that you look somewhat professional, is important. That's how I started. I only went to networking events so I could get candid photos so I could use on my LinkedIn to then leverage, and it worked, right? You do the things that you need to do until you get the thing that you want to have. Now, do personal branding well and it becomes a multiplier of everything and anything. It can literally change your life. It certainly did for me. This type of multiplier is what takes a $100,000 business into a $500,000 business or more, even to $1 million. So visibility creates trust and trust creates demand. So you need to remember this anytime you're trying to think about whether it's worth to build your personal brand. It definitely is. And I'm going to hone in on it until I die. Okay, now let's talk about the wealth multiplier and how this actually works in practice. Once you build your service business, then you manage to scale it into something that gives you your time back, but you're still making more revenue. Then you build your personal brand alongside doing all of these and getting clients and more opportunities. You're scaling your revenue and you're documenting everything live. By now, you understood the power of building a personal brand alongside building a service-based business because it costs you $0. Then you understood how to monetize it even more without trading your time for money, and now you kind of like multiply that revenue. So now after that, if for a period of time you talked about doing the thing, you showed yourself doing the thing, you documented yourself doing the thing, and then other people are also talking about you doing the thing, let's say clients giving you case studies. When you're launching, you're creating a little FOMO and demand. You're like literally pushing everything out. You're using lead magnets to amplify your presence because the lead magnets suddenly become the playbooks that you used to use for clients, etc. By now, you will be able to unlock things that you thought that you'd never get access to, such as sponsorships, speaking engagements, equity and co-founding on roles, angel investments, and that is the big shift that happened for me. In the beginning, you have to fight for every client, but later, once you build the products, the system, and a brand, opportunities literally start chasing you. So, like I said at the beginning, I am now building a B2B SaaS. I also have equity in other businesses. I also became an angel investor. On top of that, I had the agency, I have the education business, I'm building another agency, and I'm building another B2B cohort coming out in the next few months. So like here, I have 4 different things. So all of these things in this side, I created by myself with $0, and doing it online. And the main marketing model was my personal brand, right? For the B2B SaaS, I found my co-founder on LinkedIn, who is Jake Wood, who's also my friend, and we started together. We understood that we could both leverage our audience because we had a good product, and now we also have winning distribution. Together, him and I, we have around 400,000 followers combined just on LinkedIn. Now, with the B2B SaaS, we found a problem that we could fix, which was content creation, and then we partnered up to start this thing. And that we're trying to scale that to $1 million ARR as soon as possible. Now, with the equity deals, I get offers for these all the time because I have the power of distribution, which I created through building the agency, through building the education business, to building the other agency, and building cohorts that have led to, $150,000 of worth of revenue in a month, or like $100,000, like multiple six-figure launches, right? And through all of these experience and expertise, and also proof, I then get eyeballs of people seeing my value in the market as an equity or shareholder, co-founder or co-owner, because I've proven to the market that I can do certain things that other people can't, or that they don't have enough experience in, and then the distribution that I have as well. So while I stacked my skill set, and then while I stacked clients on top of this, and I built my brand equity through documenting it on LinkedIn, I gained access to all of these three things that then multiply my wealth, not just my income, right? For example, so by now I've gotten about 5 to 10 deals on either having equity on different businesses or becoming a co-owner or co-founder. And the main reason why these people want me in their boards is for my distribution and also my expertise, right? I get to have these things, like in these, I don't have to pay anything. I get paid. Doing the first 4 steps is a massive unlock that people are consistently looking for. Also spend a lot of money to obtain. You can get access to all of these things for free if you do it for long enough and you do it well. Now, the last thing I want to talk about is angel investing, because I actually get a lot of questions about how I started angel investing. So my first angel investment was in this drink called New Tonic, founded by Chris Williamson and James Smith. I truly believe in the brand because I drink it myself every single day, 3 times a day. So the reason why I invested is it's a founder-led business. It's very much personal branding back, which aligns with my values. I like the products, I like the founders, and it just made sense. And it's also a great brand move, if I'm being completely honest. And on top of that, you also get access to maybe sponsorship deals and speaking deals if you have enough brand equity, right? So B2B businesses want to be sponsoring personal brands that have enough market reach or brand equity or total market value, etc. So then they can promote the tools to the audience in exchange for a monetary gain. Okay. And then speaking is the same, but to be honest, I usually don't charge for speaking. I'm still doing it for the experience and also for the photos. So that's why I do speaking. I also love it. So it's become a side hustle of mine. In the beginning, you have to fight for every client, but then later, once you build products, a system, and a brand, opportunities start chasing you. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the $0 to $1 million roadmap that I would follow if I had to start from zero all over again. Ladies and gentlemen, if you got any value from this, then please hit the subscribe button and drop a comment and tell me what your favorite part was. And if you have any questions, please drop them in the comments. I'll be answering every single one of them. And if you want to learn my entire LinkedIn personal branding blueprint that took me from 0 to 250,000 followers, then watch it here and I'll see you there. Now, talking about email, I've shared a few strategies here, but I laid out my exact email strategies that attributed to around 70% of our revenue this year. I also talk about limiting beliefs around email, how to do it well, how to write, and the exact tools I use to write killer emails every single time that get me clients and generate me thousands every single time. So I'll drop the link down below if you want to check it out.